Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it? You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye, bye. Let's get straight to the intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate your support. I'm very humbled by it. I'll tell you one man who's getting humbled right now, and that's Stephen A. Smith. I don't know if you guys watch Stephen A. He's a very outspoken individual, very well respected in the sports community. That man doesn't bite his tongue whatsoever. He speaks his mind, and I respect that. I respect people that speak and say what's on their mind. But all that with no regard for anyone's feelings, you can't do that. You got to respect the time and place. There's a time and a place for everything, and you got to respect what you say and what comes out your mouth, because once it comes out on social media, it's out there, and you might hurt some feelings, and people might be real feminine and get their feelings hurt. And there's no takebacks. You're playing for keeps. There's no playing for funds, right? And Stephen A. Smith chimed in on the Karmelo Anthony situation as expected. I mean, he's a pillar in the black community. Everybody knows Stephen A. Smith, whether you like him or not. He's got something to say, and everybody fucking listens. And so Stephen A. Smith took it upon himself to chime in on the Karmelo Anthony situation. And he's outraged the black community, so much so that he's lost a gang of followers. There's a lot of people calling for him to be, I don't know, fired. You can't get fired from your own podcast, right? You have the right, the freedoms and the rights to say whatever you want and to speak on it, just like everyone else has. See, there's one side that has a story and there's another side that has a story. And sometimes it's better if you meet in the middle. But a lot of people are picking and choosing sides based on racial ethnicity, based on pigmentation of skin, based on case factors. There's people that are pro Karmelo Anthony, pro fucking Austin Metcalf. And I mean, look, one's dead, the other's in prison. There's no pros, nothing but cons. And with Karmelo, literally cons, right? It's all bad. It's a bad situation. You know, it goes so much that I did a video yesterday and was right down the line, because that's how I feel about this situation. I feel that all this foolishness, all this back and forth on both sides can be overcame if there's some type of conversation. There could be a resolution to the bullshit, right? And I was called racist and I was called this and that because I didn't agree with a certain person's narrative. Fuck their narrative. I have my own, you have your own. Let's respect the fact that we are opinionated people and we could do our thing. But I'll tell you who's more opinionated than even me, and that's Stephen A. Smith. So over the weekend, Stephen A. Smith went on air on his podcast, which I watch religiously, man. I like what Stephen A. Smith spits. I like the stuff that comes out of his mouth because for the most part, I agree with a lot of it. He's pretty tough on everybody, not just black people or white people or brown people, but everybody. Hey, if you have your flowers, he's going to give you that. If he doesn't feel you don't, then he won't. But that doesn't mean he's a villain or a bad person. You know, you can't, when you agree with him, think Stephen A's the shit, but when you don't, call him a Uncle Tom or something else, right? He's been getting a lot of backlash because of his support for the conservative movement. He's been getting a lot of backlash because people don't always agree in the black community with what he has to say. As a black man, they feel that he should agree with them no matter what. But it doesn't work that way. See, before you're a black man and a brown man, here's a secret. Shh, don't tell nobody. Before you're a black man and a white man and a brown man and a green man and an alien man and one of those men that Trump met with the other day, before you're any of that, you're a man. Okay? And men do what the fuck they want to do, and they speak on what they want to speak on, regardless of repercussions. But, oh, there's repercussions. And in this case, it's game over for Stephen A. No three-pointer. Just like Wemby, that shit didn't hit, right? Stephen A. Smith was talking about the Karmelo Anthony situation, and I think people expected in the black community for him to agree and to follow suit, man. And regardless of evidence, regardless of how you feel, I mean, there's a lot of people with a large outpour and outcry to get this appeal going for Karmelo Anthony to help him. They feel that he was railroaded, that he was picked on because of the color of his skin, because of his ethnicity. And they feel because he was black, he didn't get a fair shake, didn't get due process. Now, some believe that. I don't. I believe, man, it was an unfortunate situation and it's fucked up all the way around. Look, I'm a brown man. I've been judged myself my whole life, oppressed, judged, all that. But I'm going to tell you guys, 99% of the fucking time I was judged or alleged to have done a crime, I did it. Yep, I did it. I made the foolish decision myself as a brown man to do that. And most of my victims were other brown people. That's just like white people. Most of their victims are going to be more than likely white people because that's within their community. Same thing with the brothers, man. I know a lot of people, their cry is that, oh, man, more blacks kill blacks than whites kill blacks and blacks kill whites and all that. Yeah, probably because brothers live within the inner city, within their community. So there's going to be a lot of crime, black on black, just like white on white, just like brown on brown. That's the fucking facts and the truth. It's not like white people are going out seeking to find black people to do bad things to them, or black people are going to the white neighborhoods to seek to do something bad to them. No, usually crime happens within your own community, and your community that you're in is predominantly just like you. So that's what really goes down. Well, Stephen A. Smith had a hot take, and his take was, and it was just one word. He called Karmelo Anthony a murderer. Okay, and there's a lot of people in the black community that are mad. They're on social media right now, very upset with Stephen A. because they felt that he shouldn't have called him that. They felt that what happened doesn't justify that label. Now, the man has been convicted. He's a man, not a boy anymore. He's 19 years old. That man, Karmelo Anthony, a young man, has been convicted of murder. Okay? However you want to slice it, dice it, cut it, trip it, flip it, strike that and reverse it. He's been convicted of murder one. Now, whether you choose to believe he did that, like really committed a murder, or it was more of a manslaughter or a situational event, that is what he is convicted of. There's a lot of people convicted of certain crimes that they have not even committed. We know Karmelo Anthony did kill that man, right? Austin Metcalf, for that boy at the time. He was 17 years old. But there's a lot of people that don't want to take that tag or that label and run with it and understand that once you're convicted, it just is what it is. There's a lot of people that are innocent that are convicted of crimes they didn't do, but they still wear that label, unfortunately. Now, Stephen A. Smith calling him that, he called him that based on the facts that that's what he was convicted of. I don't think he meant to shit on Karmelo Anthony. In fact, I believe that he is for his people. I believe he stands strong in the firm belief and his constitutional right to say his thing, but also at the same time, he also believes in the right to a fair and efficient trial for Karmelo Anthony. Now, whether it was fair, I wasn't there. I was at the mosquito biting the back of his neck. I don't know if due process was given correctly or he was judged based upon the pigmentation of his skin. I have seen it happen before. So who am I to sit here and say, having not been in that courtroom, that he didn't get a fair shake or he did? All I know is how the facts were presented and what it ended up being. Now, usually when they convict you, it's because they have credible facts presented to the jury, right? And the jury feels some type of way. Now, there's a lot of people saying, well, there was no black people on the jury. So what if there was and they still convicted him? Then what would you say, right? There was black people who were witnesses that were against Karmelo. There was people that were supposed to be on the defensive side that told the truth, that were black people, man, and it didn't work out. It sucks for Karmelo. Will he have action out of an appeal? We'll see. But Stephen A. Smith getting so much backlash and people literally saying it's over. They're not going to support him. They're not going to watch him. They're falling off from him, all based upon him speaking he has a right to state his opinion. And all he said was one word, a word that's actually fact. Now, Karmelo did have action at being, and this is a word I'm going to make up, a manslaughterer. Right? He had action, 10-year deal on the table. His family, his mother and his father chose not to run with that because they felt that he was within his rights to pull out a knife and stab somebody. That's what they believed. They believed that then. They believe that now. Whether he was standing his ground and it was self-defense, I guess we'll find out if his appeal goes through and he gets another shot. Will it go through? It's like a 50-50 chance at this point, more like 70-30, to be honest with you. 70 in the negative. I'm just coming from a convict's perspective. Remember that shit? I'm just coming from, someone who's been locked up, who's had cellies that have filed appeals, been through trials, things of that nature. And I'll tell you, it's very hard to get a second shot, to get a second look. It really is, right? If you guys know the Gabriel Fernandez case, Pearl Fernandez has been trying to get a second look for years. She gets shot down every time. Scott Peterson's been trying to get a second look for years, and he gets shot down as well. Now, I understand those two crimes are not in nothing in comparison with this crime, but every crime is a crime. That you have to admit, right? It was a criminal activity done, even if it was accidental, even if it wasn't meant to be that way, it fucking came out that way, unfortunately. And if you let one case go and set a precedent and others don't, man, then people are going to follow suit. And next thing you know, you're going to have a whole bunch of people that accidentally stab people getting out of prison. That ain't cool, right? That's not a safe environment to send our children to track meets in schools if people are fucking hurting them. Now, I'm not going to sit here and be against Karmelo. No, not at all. But he is a convicted felon at this point, man, unfortunately. And he's going to have to go based off what the system gives him. File that appeal, get a lawyer. Hopefully his parents use that money wisely to get him a lawyer this time around, and he gets action. I could only hope and pray for him, just like I pray for the Metcalf family, that they find stability in their life and they find a way to overcome this tragic loss. It's hard. You lose a child. I've never lost a child yet, but you lose a child, and I'm sure it's the worst thing that could happen to a parent. I see the father getting ridiculed for a racial remark he made, which I felt it was. The watermelon felon, he said. I'll say it because I don't mean it directly, right? If he really said that and wasn't an AI thing, that you don't say shit like that, man. I don't care how mad you are. You be a man and you wear that, but you don't make remarks like that, man. That Carmelo Anthony's still a young man, that's going through the hardship he's going through. Yeah, based off his actions, but still. Okay, that's just how I feel. Stephen A. Smith is losing a lot of credibility within the black community, or is it just a few people that are mad at him because he doesn't agree with them? Look, he has his right to say whatever the hell he wants to say. It's his social media platform. It's his career. It's his prerogative, like a Bobby Brown song. He can say whatever the fucking hell he wants, just like I say what I want, right? I mean, I know there will be repercussions, but it is what it is, right? You just have to live. You just have to live and be you, right? Now, the same people that will sit there and ridicule Stephen A. and say he's basically whitewashed or an Uncle Tom, or he's not agreeing with them and he's not with his black community. There's a lot of people in the black community that don't agree that Carmelo Anthony is innocent. There's a lot of people in the black community that don't feel that way. And there's a lot that do, and to each their own right. No one's right and no one's wrong at this point. The only thing is the facts that we can go based off of. One person died, one person killed him, one person's locked up, one person's gone. That's it. Now, hey, it just happened to be the black man that's locked up and the white man that's killed, but the roles could have easily been reversed. And then what would it have been? Even worse, right? I'll say this. Just like people say that Carmelo had his rights to self-defense, his rights to stand his ground, Stephen A. Smith also has the right to say whatever he wants to say. So you can't choose one side and not the other. You can't say, well, you have the right to do this, but he doesn't have the right to do that. It just is what it is. Do I agree with Stephen A. Smith's remarks? I do. Carmelo Anthony is convicted of murder. Now, it doesn't matter if he meant to do it. He did it. We know that, right? Can we all agree that he did that shit? He said it. It's on camera. It's on video. He did it, right? His parents keep putting a narrative out there that he didn't do it. He didn't mean to do it, right? Don't matter what you mean to do. You know what I mean? I didn't mean to piss on the top of the toilet bowl this morning, but I did. I didn't mean to do it, but I did it. So I'm guilty of pissing on top of the toilet. This is what happens when you're working with a monster. But let's get back to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is very outspoken, has said things positive for the black community for a number of years, and has defended his brothers in the community, his sisters in the community, man. And I respect that. I respect the fact that man built his career out of nothing and has now achieved a certain level where he is the voice or the reason of black people. You got people like Charleston White, who will sit there and say the N-word and call brothers man out of their name and just ridicule the YNs, the young brothers, man. He'll ridicule his communities. He'll ridicule people. And then all of a sudden, when he said he was going to give $75,000 and work on behalf of Carmelo Anthony's appeal, man, that brother right there was a superhero. That was Frozone, right? Tell me you don't look like Frozone, though. From the Misunderstandables. Is that what it's called? The Expendables. I called them the Misunderstand. Sometimes I can't understand. It's a fucking word Charleston White saying, right? But he's like Whack 100. Oh, power! I understand that, but I don't understand any fucking thing else he does. He says most of it is cop shit anyways. But I'll get back to this. Just like he was, man, people were like, yeah, Stephen A., Cardi B, all these people, they're doing this, right? Then the next day, he said, man, fuck Carmelo Anthony's dad, and went off, and now he's a villain. That motherfucker went from Frozone to Count Chocula. You know what I mean? Just like that. Boom. Now everyone don't like him. Same thing's going on with Stephen A. Smith. He I guess, said a word that people felt he shouldn't have said, and now they're going off on him. You know, would it have been better if he said killer or fucking attacker or aggressor or stabber? I mean, it is what it is. On paper, he is convicted of a murder, so that makes him a murderer. It wasn't like it was premeditated, planned. He did take a knife to school with the full intention that if someone harassed him, he would use it. That's according to his words. That's according to the defense, that he had that because he was being bullied and he needed to defend himself. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say there was never a time when I had a weapon on me. Yes. Did I have full intention of using it? If motherfuckers ran up? Yes. So I understand how he feels. Bigger kids, man, creating bigger problems. He's going to pull out the bigger issue. I get it. I understand. And I understand the black community saying, man, we're tired of youngsters, man, being caught up by the system not giving them their just due. But, man, you should also be tired of people like King Von and people like Dirk and people like, man, that brother, man, that just killed that store owner over not selling them a 99-cent thing that he wasn't even old enough to buy. Like, there's a lot of things in the black community where brothers is killing brothers, man, that sucks. If you're going to be mad at one thing, be mad at everything. As a community, as human beings, as people, man, we need to figure out what the fuck is going on with these youngsters, man. Every color, every ethnicity. We're all one race. That's facts, right? Stephen A. Smith said a word, man. Do I think he should be blackballed for it? No, absolutely not, man. You know, hey, some people speak correct English. Some people speak politically correct. And in doing so, what Stephen A. Smith was just giving you the facts. The facts is he's a convicted murderer, man, whether you like it or not. And hopefully, man, he can get that second chance at court, you know. But I'll be honest with you guys, man. This is my opinion. I think he's going to get found guilty again, and I think it's going to be more time for making the courts waste their time. I'll be honest with you, right? If they didn't find self-defense the first time, there's nothing that's going to change that they're going to find it the second time. Look, I know people are going to be mad at me. You're racist because you don't want him to get out. I do want him to live a prosperous life. I want everyone to live a prosperous life. But he did a crime, and now he has to do time. There was never anyone fucking picketing for me or out there screaming for me, man. When I did my shit, they was like, man, lock that Mexican up. Straight up. Gangbanger. You know, and I'm not mad and think everyone else has to suffer because of what I did. I understand what I did. I did my time like a man, and I'm out, right? And now it's his turn. So as far as Stephen A. Smith goes, is it game over for him? Does it really change what Stephen A. Smith is or who he is? I bet you he comes out and says he don't give a fuck, right? You know, look, you could take everything away from Stephen A. Smith. You could take away his platform. You could take away his credibility. You could take away his career. You could take away his money. That's still going to be a brother right there, man. No matter what, you know. Hey, but motherfuckers are still going to tap in and tune in. Guaranteed. Same thing happens with me. There's a lot of people that don't like me because they don't like the way I talk or don't like the way I look or don't like my hot takes on things. But guess what? They still tap in, especially the haters. You know, it's just what it is. With that being said, let me know if you agree or if you disagree or if I'm racial or if you think I am, if I'm not, if I said some crazy shit. I don't care, man. At the end of the day, I have my rights to speak on what I want to speak on. And I wish there was peace and prosperity for everybody, no matter of ethnicity, religion, color, all that good stuff, right? But it fucking is what it is. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. This video right here is sponsored by Barrio Liquors from Turlock, California. If you're ever in the Turlock area, pull up to the Barrio. get you something cold to drink. Also by Sticks and Stones Yard Service in Tucson, Arizona. If you're in the Tucson area, make sure that you Google Sticks and Stones if you need yard work and get a good estimate. This is the gun. Bang, bang.